We're on the second floor of the new Liberation Pavilion at the World War II Museum. It shows the post-war period and the new challenges presented when soldiers started to arrive home. You'll learn everything about restoring justice during the war crime trials, new technologies that were developed during World War II. You'll even learn more about the four freedoms that we know today. And here to talk to us all about this new pavilion, this new space, and of course the four freedoms is with me, founding president and CEO of the museum, Nick Mueller. So good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. What do you think about this space?
Well, I'm just thrilled beyond words to be in this space after working out of this pavilion. Has been 10 years in gestation at work, and so it's just extraordinary to be in the pavilion. That really is the capstone pavilion of all of World War II that we have covered so far. And so to be here in Four Freedoms in the pavilion that's about freedom. First, it's the cost of victory, so we don't forget the lives lost and the 417,000 Americans who did not get to live out their lives. But the freedom of speech, the freedom of worship, the freedom from fear, the freedom from want, those are things that were not present before World War II, and they were not present for most of the world during the war. But Franklin Roosevelt articulated those before the war as the things that America believed, and he rallied the country together because of those beliefs and those freedoms. This is what America believes, and these four freedoms, they're good for anybody and everybody in the world. So that was a big vision, a bold vision, and it's carried forward by all of our presidents, Republican and Democrat. They all were veterans. They all remember how unified this country was during World War II.
It really ties the entire museum together, showing what happens now moving forward in present day. What do you think historian Stephen Ambrose would think of the museum as it sits here today?
Well, he wouldn't believe it. I have a hard time believing it myself. I always say if he came back to Earth, he'd have a heart attack and go back to wherever he was. He would always tell me, he said, Nick, I told you it was great. It was going to be great. It is. And he was just so passionate. He was probably America's greatest historian at the time. He was so fortunate that he was a great friend of mine and that we did a lot of things together. This was his biggest idea, but it began as a little small idea for a small D-Day museum on the lakefront and at the university. But it had a life of its own, and it just kept snowballing and getting bigger and bigger.
Look at it now, look at it now. Well, the four freedoms, something that should be honored and carried as we move forward. So Rob and Kelsey, the question for you is, which one do you think is the most important? You don't have to answer right now, but just think about it. Let me know later when I come back to the station. But for now, reporting from the World War II Museum, Olivia Vidal, Fox 8, Local First.